Okay. So this is like my fourth or fifth time trying to do this. I'm so bad with technology. I should have just rescheduled my eye appointment. Um, yeah, I found out yesterday I'm gonna need lens replacement eventually, so within the next couple of years. So that's kind of depressing, but we'll see what happens. So I'll jump right into it. Abby sent me some notes, so that was great. Thank you, Abby. So the United States should outlaw fracking because of the potential for groundwater contamination in nearby areas. Okay, so again, start with something along the lines of, although it can lead to contamination, maybe the benefit outweighs the cost. I understand that protecting the environment is important, but also too, there can be contamination coming from other things. There could be a power plant. There could be, a issue with recycling, and kind of just like list some other examples of that. Number two, the United States should continue fracking because our transition from coal to natural gas is a big part of how the United States has lowered its carbon emissions. Um, so, kind of just on the flip side. So, yeah, I also care about lowering emissions, which is really important. We have to protect, our environment. But maybe that there's other ways that we couldn't get to this by doing this thing and this thing, and then just backing it up with some specific details. Number three, people should be allowed to own handguns because owning a handgun helps protect their homes against violent intruders. So again, yeah, I understand that having violent intruders come into your home when you have families is something that would be not great. But also at the same time, you could kind of just look at different avenues. Not everybody that's breaking into your house is a violent intruder. Maybe it's people that live in poor areas and are taking out of what they believe is a necessity. Or maybe if you're having a lot of violent intruders come into your house, maybe it's because you aren't in a great part of town, so maybe investing in a different place of living, or yeah, something along the lines of that. It's moments like these that I realize how important it is to have a group to bounce ideas off of. Um, Number four, people should not be allowed to own handguns because that will allow potential mass shootings. So, yeah, I agree. Mass shootings are not okay. There's been mass shootings that have been occurring in the media, but also, too, if you look at what the, you know, specific defined phrase of mass shooting, according to like the DOJ, it's like I I think it's like four or five victims or more. So when we think mass shootings, we think of, I mean, I'll speak for myself. I think of like double digits, people getting shot up. Um, but then also we can look at, what is the majority of people in mass shootings being victimized? It's people with, probably semi automatic weapons, or people with, multiple guns. Number five, the SAT should not be required for college entrance because high school grades are a better predictor of a student's success. So yeah, I understand that making sure students that are enrolled in school can handle what they're getting themselves into, but it's not always a predictor of success because people are intelligent in different ways, and maybe cite like the multiple theories of intelligence, and how some people are great at this and then some people thrive in this different way. So it's not always an overall predictor. Number six, students should continue to admit based off standardized testing because tests provide an important path for students from failing schools or students that do not thrive in traditional classrooms to prove that they have the ability to make it at rigorous institutions. Did I just do the wrong? Yeah, I think I just flipped these. Wow, that was a fail. So yeah, making sure that people included or recognized when they don't do well in a classroom. Yeah, that's important. But but focusing on like testing and it is important for people to succeed. People are always going to experience pressure. People need to better themselves and get used to doing things that are outside of their comfort zone. Number 7, majoring in engineering is better than majoring in music because on average engineers make more money. Um, so I believe that making more money is a good thing, and being financially stable and having the ability to have more options as far as jobs in a job field is something that can be overall beneficial to somebody. But with that being said, people tend to gravitate towards their interests. So if their interest is in music, then even though it's not making them as much money, it's still what they want to do for the rest of their lives. So when the word better is used, it doesn't look like it takes into consideration like overall happiness, but overall finances. Number 8, to reduce the amount of ICE activity that needs to take place and related expenses, and to eliminate the needs for holding facilities, including child detention centers, the United States should build a nearly impassable border wall. um, and then stating something like, yes, immigration in this country is an issue because this, and that, and there are facilities that are overcrowded and it looks unhumane in pictures. But then also too, if you build a giant wall, there is other things and other ways that people can get to the United States. So, I have this guy, and I've worked with him in the past, and he would tell me how he used to get U-Hauls and he would drive to parts in Mexico and go inside a warehouse, and he'd get $5,000 a person, and a bunch of people would jump in the U-Haul, and then he would just drive them across the border, and he would go to another warehouse, which other vans were, and they would go to larger areas, larger cities, and then disperse the people. So people are driving right across. And there's also parts in California where there may be a wall, but people tend to go around, or people will tend to burrow underneath, or people will. There's always a way. So like the wall part of it can't always fix the immigration problem or deter the immigration problem. I haven't seen any studies that says it does, but I have been wrong many times. So who knows? Let's see here. Number 9, to guard against things like mass shootings and terrorist attacks, and to help solve more crimes, the United States should use tech to collect and analyze every text, call, and email and other communication its citizens engage in, including introducing more street cameras, drones, and listening devices. Yikes. Yes, so we need to protect ourselves from terrible things happening. Terrible things are not okay. I would hope that we would not have as many of them, but we do, unfortunately. But I think there's other ways that we can help to reduce crime. So I don't know if it was this class or another class, um, but like sending drones in to do some things, but not all things. Maybe we have to draw a line where, if people are not having their privacy respected, then, it's crossing some lines with individual freedoms. Again, this is a time where, people chiming in would definitely benefit my um, poor argument. Number 10, to put an end to COVID, every person on the planet should isolate for 2 months. Okay. So, yes, stating COVID-19 is a problem. COVID-19 is bad. There have been people that have died from COVID. Um, but, you know, taking 2 months isolating, then there's certain jobs that need to be done, or else our society falls apart. And technically, it's when we specifically talk about like safety and security. So, frontline workers, ambulance, hospital workers, uh, funeral home. I'm not funeral homes. Assisted living homes, and police officers, firemen. So like they can't necessarily take those 2 months off, or else lots and lots of people will die. So maybe there's other things that they can do, and maybe cite some um, statistics that say, that talk about other ways to look at COVID-19 as far as preventative measures. With that being said, with all of this information that Abby gave me, thank you. And I will try my best to send this video. No promises. I'm just really hoping that I can send it and not have to redo this.